Hi everyone, my name is Brian. I'm a general communications major here at UTSA. This is my introductory video for Communications 3243. I plan to jump into medical sales upon graduation. I spent 8 years in the United States Navy as a medical representative. I was a hero at work in the Navy when I discovered a major reporting system flaw. The flaw was costing millions of dollars and thousands of man-hours for the United States Navy. When I discovered this flaw, it was here at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, and I was in charge of medical readiness for the San Antonio area. So it was roughly 6,000 sailors that fell underneath that job title. So it was a lot of computer reporting systems, medical records, and I had a staff of about 15 people I managed. While discovering that most of our appointments were getting tracked under a record check, because most of the students that came through, they were students here at Fort Sam Houston, just leaving boot camp, had just got all their shots, got all their physicals, got everything done, but it wasn't tracked in the system. So their commanding officers or bosses were sending them to make sure their medical readiness was up to date. And some people were giving them shots that they didn't need, physicals they didn't need, hearing tests they didn't need because they were already done. So the electronic medical record was not matching the paper copied record. So what I decided to do was I had a few of my guys track everything they fixed. Everything, absolutely everything. If you updated a lab because someone came in and said they needed a lab, put a check in the box, I'll find a dollar amount, what is it worth, and so on. So we eventually went directly to the records department and had these commands turn their records directly into Navy personnel, because Fort Sam Houston's a joint base. So they were turning it into people that didn't work with Navy systems, didn't have access to Navy systems, and what these commands used to track their medical readiness. So once we started tracking everything and we would fix medical records, all of a sudden our appointments started dropping. People weren't getting called for appointments. All we were doing was processing records. So we were able to move other staff around the base and actually reduce the funding for our command, which some people were happy about, some people weren't happy about. But at the end of the day, I reported after 1 year of tracking everything that we fixed, and locally, we saved about $1.5 million in medical spending and about 11,000 man-hours. It's a lot of time. That's a lot of time and money just for one location. So what I did was I tracked my findings and all my reports and generated a report and sent it up to the Bureau of Navy Medicine, all the way up to the Pentagon in D.C. I got flown out to D.C. with my commanding officer to explain the program and the flaw and what we found after a bunch of phone calls and emails, and they wanted verification. So we devised a plan of the root of the problem was they were not processing everything completely at boot camp when these sailors were coming out of boot camp. So what needed to happen was they needed to allocate more personnel to make this happen. Once they decided to make everything happen, and what it all boiled down to, the Navy was spending an extra $22.6 million annually and wasting about 164,000 man-hours across Navy-wide because they were not properly tracking their systems and implementing the data. So I was the hero at work when I saved the Navy about $22.5 million. I received an award for it, but unfortunately that doesn't do anything for you when you get out of the military and you don't have a degree. So here I am in the persuasion class with you. I'm set to graduate in May. I'm here to learn how to effectively use persuasion. Persuasion's a very big part of sales. It's where I want to be. Use persuasion in my real life. Get things I want. Understand when I'm being persuaded to maybe do something I don't want to do. That way I understand what someone's doing. And use it in my work life. Persuade my boss to give me a pay raise. That's persuasion. Persuasion teaches people how to get what they want, and that's the overall goal. And the overall goal is to understand when you're being persuaded as well. You could lead a horse to water, but you can't make anyone drink. Persuasion tries to make people drink. So that's it for me. I look forward to seeing the rest of your videos and learning more about the class. If you're on LinkedIn, find me. My last name is McGroarty. That's Brian McGroarty. You'll find me, and I'd be happy to connect with you. Thank you.